I'm a tank! Sure you are. Kick it. Ever since Mozart put on a wig, ever since Screamin' Jay Hawkins was a crazy voodoo man, we've had gimmicks. We've had bands that weren't your normal guys just standing there playing your instruments. There's some characters in the band. For instance, Angus Young of AC/DC playing the schoolboy. Alice Cooper playing the crazy guy. Milo from the Descendants playing the nerd. Glenn Danzig on stage playing the big tough guy. And sometimes it's the full band, like Ghost or Kiss, where you're all kind of this persona. And then it's up to you, is it a persona that you're going to protect like Kiss and try to not make anyone see you outside as a normal person, which they did for years and years and years? Or is it like more of like Alice Cooper, where you're going to see him do interviews as a normal person, but then up on stage be crazy? You have to make that decision. Are you going to try to do it all the time or just a stage persona? Now that brings me to this band, Life, Sex, Death. Originally from Chicago, and then they went out to LA to get signed. The guitar player was in Enough's Enough for a while. Enough's Enough's one of my favorite Chicago rock bands. And then what they did was this guy, Chris Stantz, became their singer as Stanley. So he was this weird, smelly, creepy, mentally challenged kind of homeless looking dude. And that's a weird persona. Now, is that gimmick gonna work? It's gonna be a hard sell, because here in Chicago, a lot of people already knew the guy. And they're like, wait a minute. He's a normal guy. Why is he now playing this character? Now, some magazines and articles tried to play along and, oh, he's really crazy. He's really crazy. Which was a hard sell, again, for the people here in Chicago, because we had crazy. We had bands like Ministry and Jesus Lizard. And we had Wesley Wills, for crying out loud, who was the real deal. So they couldn't really pull it off fully. But anyway, they go to LA, this band, Life, Sex, Death, and they get signed. Reprise, which is Warner Brothers, pays them a lot of money to go make a record. Now, this is 1992 when this record came out. Unfortunately, because they were kind of seen as a heavy metal band, that wave was already kind of coming down. Now, if you remember, summer of 1992 is when Metallica teamed up with Guns N' Roses to go out on tour, because I think they even saw the writing on the wall that this rock and roll stuff was kind of being pushed aside. The heavy metal rock and roll was being pushed aside, and the alternative grunge indie rock and roll, and they were the bands of the day. Your Pearl Jam. 1992 saw Dirt released by Alice in Chains. Ministry had Psalm 69. So a lot of the more alternative kind of heavier stuff was coming through. So a band like Life, Sex, Death, LSD, really had to rely on something, which unfortunately was a gimmick from the singer. I often thought, like, how hard are you going to play this? Like, you got, your concert, and you're backstage, and you're, like, trying to smooth the ladies and the chicks, and you're like, hey, I'm not really, like, mentally challenged. I'm just, we're going to turn it off and on at some point. A lot of reviews of their shows were like, oh, he's crazy. We saw him outside before the show, and he's really smelly, and he's really crazy. And then he comes on stage. I kind of get that he tried to sell, perhaps maybe in an Andy Kaufman way, this character, but it just didn't seem to work really well. It's not a character that, I guess, sells well. So maybe let that be a lesson to you. If you're going to come up with a gimmick, shoot it around some friends. Like, hey, I'm in this band, we're getting signed, we got a lot of money. I was thinking maybe I'll do this kind of smelly guy. And if any of your friends look at you and go, I don't know, maybe just be crazy. No, because I really want to be smelly. Maybe stick to crazy. I'm not going to wash for a long time. Just be crazy. Who knows? That being said, let's go to the record review. So it's got boobies on it, so I don't want to get too much in trouble, YouTube. Although I think you can show boobies. I don't know. Do we have an official legal word on boobies? So the record, The Silent Majority, came out. And already, we had Faith No More. We had Jane's Addiction the year before. We had Lollapalooza the year before. So we had a lot of alternative stuff. So your mainstream heavy metal at this time, Poison and Motley Crue and all that, we had already seen that. We were kind of getting over that. Me and a lot of my friends have already kind of formed our opinion after seeing enough of that, like what seemed to be true from the band and what bands were kind of trying to hop on that. Hey, look, we're kind of alternative crazy too. So this album cover to me kind of said, they're trying too hard. But it's called The Silent Majority, and there's 14 songs. And I gotta say, this is the vinyl repress, and it's being sold, online, a whole bunch of stores and stuff. It's got 14 songs. I'd say about 4 of them are good, 4 of them are great, and the other 6 are just eh. If they would have cut this record down to 10 songs instead of 14, it probably would have been a lot better. We're Here Now opens it up. That's a good song. Schools for Fools, they shot a video for that. It was kind of like the Alice Cooper, School's Out kind of a theme. It's a good song. Some of their songs are kind of a little more high school-ish, I guess, than college-ish, if that makes sense. Like the humor or the swearing and stuff is just kind of more kind of juvenile. It doesn't come across like his rah, it just comes across like, oh, yeah, okay. He's not really just singing as himself, he's singing through this character, Stanley. His voice was pretty good, but unfortunately, because he was playing that character, the character side of that voice kind of ruins some of the voice in a way, if that makes sense. Telephone Call to Jesus, that's a pretty good song. Farm Song is pretty good. There's another swear song. Hey Buddy is probably one of my favorite songs in the album. Train is also good. And then you have like Wet Your Lips, it's just kind of dumb. Tank is humorously, I think we laugh kind of at the band instead of with the band on that one. Raise a Little Hell. Guatemala is, again, for me, a song that they're just trying too hard to be weird. Big Black Bush, throwaway song. Rise Above, pretty good. So, it's worth checking out for sure if you can find this. If you don't want to pay for the repress, the original pressing is going to cost you a lot of money. If you don't want to pay for the repress, just want to get maybe a cheaper version, you can look for it on CD. That's probably a cheaper version. Actually, when this came out, summer of '92, I bought it on cassette tape, and I had it on cassette tape for a long time. Now, cassette tape, you kind of got to play it through, so it's kind of more effort than it's worth. So for a lot of the songs being throwaway songs, I didn't really play it because it was a cassette tape. I don't want to have to sit through the songs I didn't really think were that great to hear the songs that I really liked. So if I would have bought it on CD or LP where I can actually kind of go from track to track, I probably would have enjoyed it a little more. But the repress comes on red vinyl, red clear vinyl. It's kind of cool. And it's got two LPs, so the sound quality is really good. It's really nice to check out. If you look on YouTube, they do have some performances of them way back in the day, so it's kind of fun. The stage show is kind of the same, where you have this homeless lead kind of guy coming up on stage who just starts playing, and you're like, whoa, what's that weirdo kicking off stage? And then, boom, the band kicks in, and oh, there's my heavy metal hero. So it's kind of cheesy in a way, but again, it's kind of entertaining to look back now. The group only put out one album. I'd have been anxious to see had that album sold enough and they would have kept going with LSD. How long, like after their 4th or 5th album, is he still the crazy smellless homeless guy, or did he find a miracle drug and now he's a normal guy? It just didn't work. The fans said no. The music community said, nah, we're going to pass on this. So unfortunately, they got signed. There's a lot of hype, and then it went down as quick as it went up. So there you have it. Go check it out. Life, Sex, Death. We can look back and laugh now. It's kind of funny. Thanks for subscribing and liking and all that stuff, and thanks for watching.